Hi Reddit, I'm Chase, 29M, and I really didn't expect to be the kind of person who would press criminal charges against my own family. But here we are. Because when someone steals a $60,000 car from you and tells you with a straight face that you're being dramatic, what choice do you actually have? Let me back up. I bought a Tesla Model 3 2 years ago. Not on a whim. I worked my ass off. 2 jobs, side hustles, skipped vacations, even skipped ordering takeout for a year. Real grind mode. I've been obsessed with Teslas since college, and when I finally hit my savings goal I cried when I signed the papers. Not because I'm that emotional, but because it was the first thing in my life that was 100% mine. Not my parents', not shared with roommates. Just mine. I kept it clean, garaged it, tracked every software update. I treated it like people treat purebred dogs, probably annoyingly so. My family, though, they never really took it seriously. My mom called it Chase's little spaceship. My dad said it was just a fancy golf cart. My younger sister Madison used to roll her eyes and say, "No one actually cares about your toy car, bro." Whatever, I didn't need them to love it. I just needed them to leave it alone. But they didn't. About 6 months ago, I let Madison borrow the Tesla once. She had just broken up with her boyfriend, was crying on the phone, and needed to get out of town for a weekend to clear her head. I hesitated. She's not exactly the world's best driver, but I gave in. She promised she'd be careful. And, shocker, she wasn't. She brought it back with curb rash on the rims, no battery charge, and sand everywhere. Did she apologize? Nope. She said, "You're lucky I didn't crash it. That car drives itself anyway." I was pissed but let it go. Dumb move. Fast forward to a month ago. I left the car at my parents' place while I was traveling for a work trip. 3 days in, I get a call from my neighbor back home. He says, "Hey man, I saw your car in your sister's driveway. I thought you were out of town." I thought he was mistaken until he sent me a photo. It was my Tesla parked dirty with new pink butterfly stickers on the rear window. My stomach sank. I called my parents. Mom answered, "Oh, Madison's just borrowing it again. You weren't using it. What the hell are you talking about? She doesn't have a key. We had a spare. Why would you give her my spare?" She sighed like I was bothering her. "Chase, relax. She needed it for errands. You're being controlling again." I flew home the next day. The car wasn't in the driveway anymore. It was gone. I drove straight to Madison's. I parked out front. There it was. Not just dents, but one full-on scratch across the passenger side door. I knocked. She opened the door, chewing gum, holding an iced coffee in pajamas. "Oh, you're back early. Give me the keys now," she laughed. "It's kind of too late for that." "What? Mom and Dad transferred it to me while you were gone. It's in my name now." I thought she was bluffing. So I checked the DMV portal that night. And guess what? Title: Madison Walker. Registered address: my parents' house. She'd actually filed for a title transfer, and my parents witnessed it. I confronted them, screaming, shaking. And you know what? My mom said, "Well, technically you left it with us, so you gifted it." That's how it's legally recorded. I felt like I was hallucinating. They tried to gaslight me. My dad pulled the whole "you've always had anger issues" card. Madison then said, "If you cared so much about it, maybe don't leave it behind like I abandoned a bike at a park, not a $60,000 vehicle." I went home, didn't sleep, called a lawyer the next morning and told him everything. He said, "You're going to hate this, but they actually found a legal loophole." Apparently, because I left the vehicle on their property and there was no written agreement about it, they filed a fraudulent but technically passable title transfer claiming it was gifted to a family member. Disgusting, but not bulletproof. Because guess what? I had a camera. My garage cam was synced to my cloud account, clearly showing me parking the car and saying out loud on video, "I'm leaving it here for 3 days while I'm in Denver. No one's to touch it. Timestamped. Location verified." I sent that to my lawyer. He smiled and said, "Now that's intent. Let's take them down." By noon the next day, I had a police report filed. Fraudulent title transfer, vehicle theft. I gave them all the documentation, proof of purchase, maintenance records, insurance tied to my name, video of me stating I was temporarily storing the car at my parents', screenshot of text where Madison admitted she borrowed the Tesla. The officer looked over everything and said, "This is cleaner than most of the messes we see. We'll take it from here." I wasn't expecting an arrest. I wasn't looking for handcuffs. I just wanted my damn car back. But the moment I left the station, I knew this was going to be uglier than I thought, because as soon as I got home, my phone started blowing up. First call, my mom. "Chase, what the hell did you do?" "I should have done the second you lied to my face." "You're seriously calling the cops on your own sister?" "No, I'm calling the cops on the person who stole my car." She went silent for a beat. Then, "Madison, you're disgusting. You've always been selfish. You literally helped forge a title and gave away my property. We were trying to help Madison. You helped her steal." 10 minutes later, my dad showed up at my door. Didn't even knock, just started banging. I opened it just enough to talk. "We need to talk about how you betrayed your own son." "Sure. You think this is justice? This is revenge." "No, revenge would be letting you all rot. I'm just enforcing the law." He looked like he wanted to hit me. Instead, he took a deep breath and said, "If this goes public, it'll ruin our reputation. Then maybe you shouldn't have committed a felony in a digital world, Dad." He left furious. A few hours later, I got an email from the DMV titled, "Transfer Frozen, Pinning Legal Dispute." Then a call from the officer. "We reached out to your sister. She claims the car was a gift, but based on what you've provided, that's unlikely to hold. So what happens next? We're recommending restitution. She'll be given an opportunity to return the vehicle voluntarily. If not, we move forward with charges." That was Friday. Saturday, the real circus began. Madison posted some unhinged rant on her Instagram story. Black background, white text, all caps. "Imagine your own brother calling the cops over a car family is supposed to be your safe place, not your battleground." Then a picture of her next to my Tesla with the caption, "Say goodbye to your precious toy, loser." I didn't respond, didn't DM her, didn't even comment. I just screenshotted everything and sent it to my lawyer. He wrote back, "She just made this easier." Monday morning, her bluff got called hard. The officer showed up at her apartment and politely informed her she had 48 hours to return the vehicle or charges would proceed. She texted me, "Finally. Are you really doing this?" I replied, "You did this. I'm just responding." She said, "You know this is going to destroy our family." I stared at the screen. And yeah, that part hurt. For a split second, that guilt they'd all been shoving down my throat started bubbling up again. Maybe I should just let it go. Maybe it's just a car. Maybe they're right. But then I remembered what it felt like to see my name gone from that title, like I'd been erased from something I earned. And I texted her back. No. What destroyed this family was thinking I wouldn't fight back. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call. "Officer, car's been returned. Undamaged. Mostly. You want to double-check everything?" I Ubered to the impound lot and there she was. Dirty, scratched, battery nearly dead. My Tesla, still mine, still standing. And I stood next to it, gripping the keys, telling myself, this isn't just about a car. It's about not letting people walk all over you, even if they share your blood. As I drove it home, hands shaking a little, I passed my parents' neighborhood. I didn't stop, didn't wave, didn't slow down, letting them feel the distance. Because for once, I chose it. You ever get an apology that's so obviously not about you but about them saving face? Yeah, that was my entire next week. It started with a voicemail from my mom, soft voice, quivering. "Chase, we didn't mean for things to go this far. Your sister's young. People make mistakes. Can't we just talk as a family?" Classic. No acknowledgement of what they actually did. Just, it got out of hand. Like they weren't the ones who lit the match. I didn't respond. Then came a text from Madison. First one, "So now that you got your toy back, can you calm down?" Second one, 2 hours later, I talked to a lawyer. Apparently, I could still argue it was a gift. Just saying. Third one, next day. Okay, fine, I'm sorry. You happy now? It wasn't an apology, it was a negotiation. She only cared because the threat of charges was real, not because she felt bad, not because she respected me, because she lost. And people like Madison don't apologize when they lose. They just reposition. What really got me though was the group message. A group chat with me, her, my mom, and dad. Out of nowhere, I get a text that says, "Mom, we've all made mistakes. Let's sit down this Sunday and talk it through. Dad, let's get back to normal. Life's too short for this kind of drama." Madison, Mom, yeah, this was exhausting. Can we be done now? My hand clenched around the phone. Let's get back to normal. What a joke. Normal? You mean the version of normal where my property is fair game if you feel entitled to it? Where family only means something when I'm the one sacrificing, where I'm called dramatic for defending my boundaries but no one blinks when someone else crosses them? Nah, that version of normal is dead. I didn't answer the group chat. Instead, I sent a message to each one individually. To Madison, you knew exactly what you were doing. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. To my dad, you taught me to stand up for myself, but only when it didn't affect you. I'm standing now. To my mom, you always said family is love, but love doesn't look like betrayal and lies. I'll reach out when I'm ready. Until then, please don't contact me. Silence. No replies for 2 full days. Then I knocked on the door. Of course, it was my mom. She looked tired, warning, the "I've been crying" face, but also the "I practiced this speech in the car" face. I didn't let her inside. We talked at the door. Chase, I'm not defending what we did, but we thought you'd be reasonable. You mean quiet? She blinked. No, just understanding. It was just a car. No, Mom. It was my car. We thought you'd forgive her. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. She looked down. We messed up. I waited. Nothing else came. That's it. I asked. No ownership. Just, we messed up. She looked up. And in that moment I saw it. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared that this time I wouldn't cave, that this time the easy sun didn't show up, that this time I was serious. I love you, she said quietly. I nodded. I know, but I need space from people who only respect me when I threaten them with consequences. Then I closed the door. And yeah, I cried after. Not because of guilt, but because it hurt to realize that love doesn't always come with respect attached. That night I took the Tesla for a drive, not anywhere far, just around. Letting the road remind me that I worked for this. I earned it. I fought for it. And for once in my life, I didn't let someone guilt me into giving it away. A week went by with no word from anyone. Then the calls started again, but this time, not from my parents or Madison. From extended family. First, it was my Aunt Debbie. I don't know what's going on between you and your parents, but they're devastated. Is this really about a car? Then my cousin Zach. Hey man, you good? I heard you pressed charges over a Tesla. Sounds extreme. And the final straw, my grandma Linda. Chase, sweetheart, I'm not judging you, but I raised you better than this. Better than what, exactly? Better than protecting my property? Better than refusing to be manipulated? Better than expecting accountability? Let me tell you something. It's wild how fast people will side with peace, even if it's built on disrespect, just because it's quieter. The version of me they liked, the one who stayed quiet, kept the peace, let things slide, made their lives easier. But this version was inconvenient. This version said, no, you don't get to rewrite what happened. No, you don't get a hug because you cried after committing a crime. No, I'm not coming to dinner and pretending we're all good. And for that, I became the difficult one. I'll admit it, it got to me for a couple of nights. I just sat there wondering if I'd gone too far. It was just a car, right? They're my family. People screw up. Maybe I could have handled it more privately, more gently. Maybe I was making this bigger than it had to be. But then I opened my email inbox and there it was, a copy of the original forged title transfer paperwork, the one Madison submitted. It had a checkbox labeled, "Gifted with full consent of previous owner." She checked it, signed it, and had my parents sign as witnesses. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't emotion. That was strategy. That was theft. And suddenly, I didn't feel so bad anymore. Later that day, Madison messaged me again. "You're happy now? I'm paying fines. Dad's getting hit with tax stuff because of the car transfer. You ruined everything." I stared at that text for a long time, then wrote back, "I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped letting you play the victim after committing the crime." She left me on read for 2 days. Then my dad called, first time since our front door standoff. He didn't yell, didn't guilt trip me. "You decide." "So, is this how it's going to be now? What do you mean, you over there, us over here?" No talking, no holidays, no nothing. "I guess that depends on whether you think what you did was okay." Silence. "Then it was a mistake." "No, it was a choice." "A mistake is forgetting a birthday. You signed paperwork to steal from your son. You left the car with us. You didn't say stop. Just stop. If you're calling to justify it, don't." "Fine," he snapped. "Then enjoy being right alone." And he hung up. For a second, I almost called back, almost apologized just to end the tension, almost fell back into that old reflex of keeping the peace no matter the cost. But then I looked around at the apartment I paid for myself, at the car I fought to get back, at the version of me that finally didn't fold. And I sat with the silence, not because I liked it, but because I earned it. I started calling it grief guilt, that feeling you get when someone hurts you and you're the one who feels bad for not forgiving them fast enough. It's sneaky, it whispers. Be the bigger person. They're still your family. Don't throw it all away over one fight. But then it forgets to ask, what are they doing to fix it? Because so far, I haven't seen a single sign of actual change. Just noise, just PR damage control, just people upset that I reacted, not that they did something worth reacting to. So yeah, I guess this is how it's going to be. Not forever maybe, but for now, I'd rather be the villain in their version of the story than the doormat in mine. It's been 2 months, no birthday texts, no random check-ins, no invites to Sunday dinners. And honestly, I've never felt this clear. Not bitter, not angry, just done. I kept waiting for the moment where the guilt, the loneliness, that aching voice in my head saying, was it really worth it, would hit me. But it never came. Instead, I've had mornings where I wake up without dread, nights where I sleep without rehearsing arguments, days where I walk past my car and feel proud instead of violated. People say blood is thicker than water, but here's the full version of that phrase. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Translation: chosen loyalty is stronger than inherited obligation. See, I've got friends now who ask before borrowing anything, even a charger, a coworker who brought me coffee because she knew I was working late, a neighbor who helped me move furniture just because I looked tired. None of them share my DNA, but they all understand respect better than the people who raised me. A couple weeks ago, Madison posted a quote on her story. Family is supposed to be your safe place, not your battleground. The irony made me laugh out loud. Then I blocked her. Not out of anger, but out of peace. Because when someone shows you they don't know how to treat you, you don't argue, you exit. Then, last Friday, I got a letter in the mail from my mom, handwritten, 2 pages neatly folded. She didn't beg, she didn't defend. She just said, "You were right. We crossed a line we had no right to cross. We thought being your family gave us privileges, not responsibilities. We were wrong." She ended it with, "I miss you and I understand if you don't miss me." I sat with that letter for a long time because it was the first time anyone in my family had taken full responsibility. No deflection, no guilt tripping, no backhanded comments, just honesty. And that's rare. I haven't responded yet. Not because I'm mad, but because I'm finally learning that just because someone is sorry doesn't mean you owe them access again. Forgiveness and reconnection aren't the same thing. And sometimes healing means moving forward, not moving back. So here's where I am now. My car is parked safely outside. My phone is quiet. My apartment is calm. My head is clear. Am I happy? It's mine again. Not shared, not manipulated, not handed over out of guilt or pressure. Just mine. People keep asking me, would you ever talk to them again? Here's my answer. Maybe. But it'll be on my terms, and only if they understand that what they did actually mattered. Because love without respect, that's not love. It's ownership. So yeah, they wanted me to move on, and I am just not the way they hoped. Not by pretending it never happened, but by building a life where things like that don't happen again. I didn't tear this family apart. I just stopped pretending it wasn't already broken. In the months that followed the storm of that fateful day, I found myself navigating an emotional landscape I never expected to traverse. Each morning, as I sipped my coffee in the quiet of my apartment, I began to understand that the fight wasn't just about a car. It was about reclaiming my identity and restoring the dignity I had long sacrificed for the sake of familial comfort. I often caught myself reflecting on the rawness of every conversation and every silence that had passed between us. The echoes of harsh words and the sting of betrayal faded slowly, replaced by a growing certainty that self-respect was the true prize, one that no apology or feigned remorse could ever undo. I immersed myself in rebuilding not just my financial stability, but also my emotional fortitude. I started writing again, journaling my thoughts, fears, and, surprisingly, my hopes. With each word on paper, I reclaimed a part of myself that had been overshadowed by the constant need to please those who were supposed to care. I began to understand that protecting my property was only a small part of the larger battle of protecting my sense of self. The realization was both painful and liberating. Love, when conditional and tainted by manipulation, could never be the sanctuary it was meant to be. Slowly, I created new boundaries that extended beyond legal documents and into every aspect of my life. I reached out to old friends and made new ones, people who valued honesty over hollow reconciliations and who respected the space I needed to heal. There were moments when loneliness would creep in, as memories of shared laughter and family dinners collided with the bitter taste of recent events. But even in those moments, I found strength in the silence. It was a silence filled with a promise of new beginnings, where I no longer felt obligated to validate the actions or opinions of those who had once defined my world. Family gatherings became less frequent, and while the void left by estranged relatives was palpable, it also served as a powerful reminder that true connection is built on mutual respect, not coercion or guilt. I discovered solace in my work, in small creative projects, and in the quiet satisfaction of living life on my own terms. With time, the legal battles became just another chapter in a long memoir of growth and survival. A painful lesson etched in memory but ultimately transcended by my newfound self-reliance. Now, as I stand on the threshold of a future where the scars of betrayal have begun to mend, I see that my journey has been about more than regaining a stolen car. It was about reclaiming my voice, affirming that my worth is not measured by the mistakes of those around me, but by the strength with which I choose to stand alone. The car, a symbol of years of hard work and perseverance, now represents the turning point in my life. A reminder that sometimes the hardest battles lead us to the most unexpected victories. And as I drive through quiet streets under a clear sky, I am determined to build a life where respect isn't just expected, it's earned every single day.